Welcome, and this is all about you getting to your next level in health, wealth, and relationships. So, who here really wants to have better health in some way? Whether that's more energy, whether that's healing in the body, whether that's working out more or losing weight. Who here would love to have some level of more health or more energy? Awesome. Okay, who here wants more money? Who wants more abundance, more wealth, maybe to build your business bigger or to just manage finances better or spend less? There's all sorts of money and wealth goals that we have. But I know everyone here wants more money. And then I also know most of you want better relationships because you're in my relationship course. I'm going to share a few things that are going to support you on that journey. But there's a difference between learning new information and transformation. When we know we want to change, we go into reading more books, listening to podcasts, going to seminars, and we work on a conscious level, right? And so what we're going to look at is how do you actually get into a deeper level so that change actually happens, transformation happens rather than just getting more information. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is how the work that I do can really take you to the next level and help you hit some really big goals. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and the work that I do. First of all, a little background. I was selling candy on the playground that I made in like second or third grade. So I've been an entrepreneur since a very young age. And I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs to help them to reach next levels in their business. And it's kind of just the thing I love to do. I've done over 1,000 sessions of diving into people's inner minds and really seeing what people want most in their lives. So it's really fun. I've also used this information and this work on myself and with my family. Obviously, you've seen a lot of my family actually does this work with me because it's so fun and it's so powerful. But I've worked through it. First, I got into this when I was just in high school, and I learned about hypnosis and about visualization, and I won 2 national titles, and I used it all through early motherhood, and then through divorce. I've worked and really thrived actually through divorce and then also through even breast cancer. So health and relationships and building my business, it all has helped me. And I love helping others with this information as well. So the 3 steps to transformation that I figured out and I've watched each person go through is you first have to recognize what's going on and what you want to change and get clear on that. And then you have to release it. And we're going to talk a lot today about stories about how people have released it and how people have, once there's a void, once we remove what's blocking us, what's getting in our way, we then get to replace it with a more empowering belief or a more empowering way of being. And so what I want you to do is recognize something that's standing in your way of spiraling up into a life that you love. That's the tagline. My website is The Life That You Love. And I'm all about spiraling up. It's taking that momentum and moving it from the spiraling down feeling to spiraling up into a life that you love. And so I want to begin because I know that our brains work in stories. A story about my client, Sam. And he came to me because he had a sugar addiction. He was emotionally eating. He was overweight. And he had this really mean inner critic. And it was causing self-sabotage. His marriage, his relationship with his kids was struggling. He was an entrepreneur and he was just in a pretty rough spot. And so I started working with him, and it was so fun because we reprogrammed his inner critic, his addict, and his saboteur, these 3 aspects of himself that were really causing havoc in his life. And these parts thought that they were helping. They thought that they were distracting him so he didn't hurt himself, or they thought that they were helping him but they really weren't. And so when we gave them a new role, we gave them tools and gifts and a stick that would hit away the negative thoughts and protect him, and a magical box and a ball that would remind him whenever he squeezed it and fill him with joy and excitement. Well, after 3 sessions, he called and he said, I'm doing so well. I don't think I need to do another session. It's awesome. And I'm eating better. I'm exercising. My relationship with my wife is so much better. And I think I'm just doing great. And I was like, that is the best thing that I could ever hear, because I want my clients to get fast results and really change their lives. And let's not go from just do the work when we're in a suffering state. How about we now go into creation using these same tools? And so he met with his inner counsel and he found out his purpose, and he got wisdom from his guides and the wise people that helped him to really design a life that he loved. And then we did some inner child work, which is so beautiful, and he's just thriving. And it's so fun to work with clients like this. So why does this work? What is it that I do that's so different than other people or a typical therapist or that kind of thing? 7 or 8 years ago, I was doing business coaching. And I had done hypnotherapy for 8 years before in the birth world. But when I got into coaching, I was just working on the conscious mind, and I was teaching concepts and I was teaching principles, and we were getting some success, but it was too slow for me. I am all about fastest and easiest way. And so when clients would come back a week later after paying me for a session, and they were like, yeah, I just didn't do it. Or yeah, I didn't really have the results I wanted. I was not satisfied. So I was like, well, since 90% of what we do, say, think, and believe is subconscious, then why don't I go into that part, the bottom of the iceberg, right? So let's go there and let's make the shifts and changes there, especially because the majority of our subconscious is created in childhood. This is so key. I do this, I love a lot of inner child work. I do a lot of timeline therapy. And the way we do it is we go in and we use the power of imagination. So hypnosis has this kind of bad rap of like, what is it exactly? And all it really is it's going in and working the mind into theta state. And theta state is a natural way of being that you're in and out of all through the day. And in fact, children are in it all the time until they're about 7 or 8 years old, when the critical faculty is created that has kind of a filter and says, according to this, my worldview, do I believe that or not? And so as adults, we have this, but as children, we don't. But as adults, we do go in and out of this subconscious and conscious state, and it's called theta. Well, first thing in the morning, you're in theta. And it's when your brain is on and you've woken up, but your body's super relaxed, right? Another time you're in that state is when you're going to bed. And so these are great times to reprogram the brain. The other times are when you're watching TV or you're relaxing or you're meditating. There's access to subconscious. And that's also why it's really important to be careful of what you watch, right? Because when you're relaxed, your body's relaxed and your mind's on, it's allowing more access to reprogram your brain. Okay, so the other thing is we don't know the difference between imagination and reality. And I use this all the time. Right now I'm coaching the ski team and I'm their mindset coach. And so we're doing this with the athletes, right? We're having them visualize themselves at the start gate, and we're visualizing the racer ready, and they count down and they go through that gate and they start to turn. And the amazing thing is they've done study after study that shows that the brain doesn't know the difference. And so when the athlete trains in their mind and visualizes, it's just like they're on the ski hill or they're shooting the basket or they're hitting the bird, right? Whatever it is, we're a badminton family. So we say, hit the badminton bird. Okay, so the third thing is reprogramming is possible through three things. So how do you reprogram the brain? It's through repetition, emotion, a heightened emotional state, and a voice of authority. And so why the work that I do works so well is because we use all three of these, and you are your voice of authority. I'm no longer telling my clients what they need to do or what they should try this week. Their inner voice, their inner wisdom, knowing all the thousands of pieces of information that they know are what are giving them the guidance of what their next action steps are, how they're going to shift, how they're going to change, the gift that they're going to visualize and bring into their body so that they can show up in a new way. Does that make sense? How cool is that? That's pretty neat. So I'm going to tell you another story because the brain works in pictures and it works in stories. And so another client that I've worked with is Jane. And she runs multiple offices in her industry, and she's phenomenally successful. And she was raised by an alcoholic, narcissistic mother. And so she came to me because even though she was so successful, she didn't feel the fulfillment that she knew she wanted to feel. She didn't feel like she was showing up in her marriage and with her kids in the way that she wanted. She didn't have that model set up for her in her worldview that she created as a child. She knew really clearly, because she's a successful woman, she knew what she wanted. She wanted more flexibility. She wanted more fun. She wanted more joy. And she wanted more peace. And so we went in, we did that kind of parts work. We figured out what was holding her back, and we figured out those core memories that were created in that traumatic childhood that were driving her to this excellent, where she was compelled rather than being in choice. And so by finding clarity and getting really crystal clear on who she wanted to be as a wife and a mother and a CEO, she got that long-term vision, and she transformed and helped these little parts of her that were just terrified or were afraid. And she saw them grow up. She saw them turn into these parts that could support her, that could be on her council of wise people. And so she continues to work with me. She's one of my favorites. And she continues to recognize, release, and replace those limiting beliefs. It's kind of like peeling an onion, but it is so much fun. And she always tells me she is experiencing more peace, more joy, and more connection than ever before. So it's so fun. I could tell you stories about my clients all day because they're just so amazing. But I wanted to tell you a few more concepts that I think are going to help you. The conscious mind is kind of like the screen that you see. But the subconscious is all of the programming, all the hardware, all the software, the internet, all the things that are working, right? And so when you go into hypnosis or you go into a deep visualization, and this is something that you can do on your own as well, is just going into a deep, relaxed state and visualizing your counsel or visualizing these things. But this is a really core way to reprogram it. And if you're finding that you're working on a conscious level, trying to change, using your willpower, trying to learn more information, talking to people about it, and staying up here in the conscious mind, then the change it's like it's not even like David fighting Goliath. It's like fighting a giant and thinking that you're going to win. It's just, if you have a deep-rooted fear that if you become too successful, you'll be ousted from your tribe, or you have a fear that if you lose weight, too many men will come onto you and you won't feel safe anymore, the potential for you to actually get the change you want is very slim. Again, I use visualization, timeline therapy, inner child work. If you watch Inside Out on pick that Pixar movie, it's so much like that. You have these different parts in your brain, and you have these memories from childhood that created these core memories. And if you haven't watched that movie, the creator of IFS, Internal Family Systems, he was like one of the people that consulted for that movie, and it's totally spot on. Like, being in people's brains is a lot like that movie. So if you want to check it out, it's super cool. Okay, so the other thing is, why not just do this on your own? I have done a lot of self-hypnosis, and it can be really powerful. And it's also kind of like a multiverse where you go in and it's kind of like, where do I go from here? And so having a guide can be really powerful. And the more you have a guide, the more you can figure out how to do this on your own. But I do suggest having a guide, at least as you begin to do this work and as you're wanting to find fast and easy results. So it is super helpful, and we can talk about that a little more later. So my final example is of Jill, and she's another successful entrepreneur. She is rocking it, and she wanted to just lose a few pounds, and she wanted to hit this huge goal for her and her company. We recognized some fears and a little PTSD from something that had happened. We recognized some grief, and we released those things. But she was so fast in responding to this work, and she lost her weight so fast. She got from baby weight all the way down to her ideal weight again in the timeline that she wanted, in a healthy way. She is thriving. She's building, getting to her second million, and she's reaching the goals that she wants to. So the reason why I bring her up as an example is I have clients that come to me in utter despair, that are not doing well at all, that are in depression, anxiety, maybe insomnia, or physically ill. And then I have people that are doing okay, and they're just, they're not rocking it, but they're wanting to get to the next level. And then there are people that have audacious goals. Maybe they want to win the Olympics, or they want to get on the Inc. 5000 list or 500 list. They want to take their relationships to the next level, find their soulmate. There's all sorts of ways that you can use this work. Whatever category you're in, or wherever you're at right now, and maybe in some areas of your life, like wealth, you're totally rocking it, but maybe some relationships are struggling. It's okay. You can be in any area. But what I want to offer you is a complimentary mini breakthrough strategy session. And so you can dive into those areas of your life. We can look at which area you really want to create more abundance, to transform. And I'm going to put that into the chat right now so that you can go ahead and just create that.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat for everyone.
It's in the chat. Awesome. Brooke's so on it. You're so great. So go ahead and click on that. And while you do and you fill that out, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how before our call, you can just start applying all this information right now. And so I call it self-hypnosis. You could call it a morning routine. You could call it a meditation. It's all the same. We're just going into theta. But I like to do this in the morning and in the evening. But choosing a mantra is really powerful because it's bringing in that repetition that we talked about, a way of literally reprogramming the neural pathways of the brain. And so I suggest saying your mantra at least, 10 times. And you'll say something like, I am now a world-known public speaker, or I am now able to go on any vacation I want, or I am now a healthy and happy runner, or I am now whatever it is. Okay, I'm now in the relationship of my dreams. So whatever your vision for your future is, bring that attention forward. And you'll see all these pictures. I'm going to just sidestep this a little bit. Is one of the things I love to do is use this software to create images for my clients. So these are just some of the images of things that they saw in their hypnosis sessions, and the things that they envisioned, and bringing just an image to that. And it's really powerful to maybe even just draw it or do something like that. So you can have an image and bring that image to your mind and really seeing it. So the next thing you do is you repeat it and then you see it. So you bring that image to your mind, you feel it, and you imagine it. And that's the feeling is what also creates the neural pathways in the brain. The higher the emotion, the more likely that your brain is going to be reprogrammed and you're going to remember things differently, right? You remember heightened emotional experiences. And so if you can bring that emotion in, feel the excitement, feel the energy flowing through your body, feel the love and the connection and the romance, or feel the playfulness that you want to have with your children, whatever you're bringing in. And then repeat that when you're in theta. So do that morning and night, and you'll notice if you do this process, even for 10 or 15 days, you are going to see a huge shift in your way of being. And it's so fun because I'll have clients say, I just walked by the mirror and I just like immediately my thought was, wow, you're doing great. And she's like, I've never thought that in my life. Or, hey, I just don't want to eat that cookie. I have never not eaten a cookie if it was at the end of dinner, right? So I have clients say this kind of thing to me all the time. We can reprogram our brains, and this is the exciting thing. So that is the completion of my presentation, and we have some time to jump into Q&A. And so does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
Can you just give us a little preview of how you do the hypnosis, maybe?
Yeah, actually, what I'll do is I'll do a self-hypnosis guide for you. So let's go ahead and just figure out a mantra that would be good for all of us, which would be every day and every way I have more and more health, wealth, and abundance. Okay, that's a super
Ooh,
easy
that's
one.
good.
That's covering all the bases. I'm all about like let's do it big. Okay, so I'll guide you through that what you would do on your own, and I'll throw a few little things in there, but it'll be super fun. So yeah, if you can stay on for this, it'll take probably 3 to 5 minutes, depends on how deep we go.
Thank you.
So I'm going to tell you the process first, because I like to do head, shoulders, knees, and toes, eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. That's my fastest way of going into theta. So I just relax every part. So if you're doing it on your own, you just have to know that nursery rhyme, which basically everyone on the planet, like in America, knows. So I use that, and then we'll go into the repetition, and then we'll bring the images into our mind. Okay, so that's a little sneak peek. Awesome. So taking a nice deep breath and imagine a color, a warmth, the feeling of relaxation just forming at the crown of your head. And allow that feeling of relaxation to begin to pour down over the crown of your head, all the way over your forehead, and releasing your jaw, letting it hang loose and slack. Just reminding you that all is well in the outside world. Allowing that relaxation to pour down through your neck and shoulders and all the way down through your arms and through your fingertips. You may even feel some tingling in your fingers or hands. And if you do, that's okay, but just take a deep breath and breathe that relaxation down into your heart now. Down into your belly as you breathe and release the belly. Breathing like a baby. Releasing the hips and all the way down through the legs and the feet. Bring your attention to your eyes now and just notice how deeply relaxed and heavy your eyelids are. So heavy and so relaxed. You may even test your eyes and see that the harder you try to open them, the heavier they become. You can even go ahead and try to open them, and notice that the harder you try, the more they just won't open. Once you're sure they just won't open, bring your attention to your ears. Listen for the farthest sound and the closest, maybe the loudest sound and the quietest. And now I'd like to just drag my tongue from the front of the mouth to the very back, activating the vagus nerve. Bring your attention to your taste buds in your mouth. And another nice deep breath as you breathe in through your nose and out through the nose. And now we're going to bring that mantra to our mind again of every day in every way. I'm stepping into more health, more wealth, and more abundance. Every day in every way, I'm stepping into more and more health, wealth, and abundance. Every day in every way, I'm receiving more and more health, wealth, and abundance. Every day in every way, I enjoy more health. I'm receiving more wealth. And I am creating more abundance. One more time, every day in every way, I have more and more health, wealth, and abundance. And I want you to just bring that vision of more health, whatever that looks like for you, into your mind. What does it look like for you to walk, hike, swim, play, jump, whatever it is? See yourself eating those healthy foods. See what it looks like in the mirror in a month or two from now when you're even healthier, even more filled with energy and vitality. And feel what it feels like in your body when you run and jump and play. Imagine yourself doing that now as you go into the evening even. What healthy choices do you make? What healthy choices do you make throughout the week? Perhaps you even decide on a commitment that you're making to yourself to step into more health, to do what it takes to take care of that amazing, beautiful body of yours. And now, see yourself with more wealth. See yourself creating more wealth or receiving more wealth. See what it looks like for you to more consciously take care of your finances, make investments rather than spend. Whatever it looks like. Maybe it's a goal that you have to take a trip or to have a certain amount in your net worth. Maybe it's a goal you have for your business. Just go ahead and see yourself creating that wealth, that abundance, and receiving. Notice what you do with that wealth. And feel what it feels like to be wealthy. have that abundance. What does it feel like to walk through a store with that wealth? What does it feel like to make those investments, to make those hard decisions and those easy ones? Imagine what it's like in pure wealth and abundance. Seeing, feeling, and imagining, maybe even making a commitment right now in your mind. One thing you're going to do differently to create this wealth and abundance. Very good. And know that this is your reality. This is your future. This is something that you can do each day as you bring this health and this wealth and this abundance to you. And finally, if there's any other abundance that you want to bring in, just see it now. An abundance of friends, an abundance of passion or excitement, whatever you want to bring in now. See that now. Feel it in your body. Feel the abundance. Feel the excitement. Feel the connection. And imagine yourself going throughout this day, this week, this month, even this year in abundance. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, abundant, healthy, connected, and more wealthy. And just feel how good that feels. Again, this is your reality. This is your future. And so in a moment, I'll count you back up. I want you to bring your hands up above your head and put a smile on your face. 1, 2, and 3. Eyes wide open. A smile on your face. And the word is yes. You can see how we used repetition. We used emotion. We used all of the things that can reprogram our brains. That voice of authority, because I'm such an authority. But the best thing is that you could see the visions for yourself. It's different for every person.
Right at the end, right? I mean, because you're so trustworthy, Paige. That's just the best compliment I can give you. And part of this is just letting something bubble up that you don't know. I loved, by the way, your bottom of the iceberg, starting at the bottom of the iceberg. That was very impressive. In the other part of it, that was like super, since I go deep and down and all that kind of ways. But what popped up for me was I go forward with ease and grace.
Mm-hmm.
But what occurred to me is sometimes I go in circles, right? So, and forward has been a word that's been showing up for me in a different way. But to be able to go forward with ease and grace rather than worry and turmoil was just really a nice, pop to the top. So thank you.
I love that. That's so brilliant. Like and isn't that neat that like what's showing up for you then comes up in these visions, and then you can see it. So yeah, one of the things that I often say is with hypnotherapy, especially, you want to find a hypnotherapist that you trust, because they're going into your inner mind. So I think that's part of why I'm so effective, because people trust me, and then I get in there and we can really go deep. So it's that's a big part though. You want to definitely find someone that you trust because someone's going in and actually making suggestions when you're in a suggestible state. So yeah,
And
thank you
Paige,
so much.
you're able to be so playful too. Like the few times that you've done this with me, it's really in a space of play, and then it's like imagination, and that's what really hit me with this experience we just did with you. I was able to picture this hard situation that I'm trying to get used to, and I realized I haven't seen myself there yet. And so if I can't imagine it, then how's it going to come to be? And so I was just able to play in that imaginary space of like seeing myself there, and a really critical part of the puzzle. So thank you.
Well, I often say this is like how God created the world, right? Like he first knew it, then he like said it, and then he created it, right? We create in this way is we first have to see it, and then we be able to have to say it, and then we can it comes into 3D. And so in this process, when you can actually see yourself in a different place, see yourself performing in a different way, or showing up in relationships better, it's just using this superpower brain, like it's using our brains as a tool to create what we want. So it's creating an intentional, using our brain to create an intentional life, a life that we love. It's so great. So another thing that you mentioned is like this play, but I always think like, okay, let's dance, because you say, oh, I see this. And it's like, okay, now where do you want to go? Or something comes up, and then based on how I know how to guide the mind, we kind of can guide it into the place of finding solutions. So it really is like a dance. So yeah, it's very playful. It's very fun. Okay, Nancy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you have the best voice for it. And just going through there, I mean, I listened to a lot of guided meditations, but that was really good. And then when you said, try to open your eyes, and I really couldn't. And that was really interesting. Yeah, that they just didn't want to open. And then I was visualizing the other stuff that you were saying, and I'm going to use that mantra. So thank you so much for leading us through that, Paige. You're really good at it.
Oh, you're
Thank
the
you.
best, Nancy. Thank you. I would love to hear. And yeah, Jody.
I don't have a question, but I just have a testimonial to how awesome you are, because I have had a hypnosis session with you and it's phenomenal. And actually, I found the notes you sent me the other day, and it just really triggered all those things we talked about and everything. So I'm going to be getting in touch with you to do another one. I think it's about time.
Yay. Oh, it was so fun doing your sessions. You're so great to work with. I love one of the things I love is going into people's brains. I'm like, I love Jody's brain. Like I love going in there and going, wow, she has a really cool brain. So thank you, Jody. Yeah, I'm glad it's been supportive. And yeah, bring those mantras back. Like just keep the mantras are super powerful, and you'll always get one at the end of a session. One thing just a lot of people ask is, how does this work? And I work on Zoom. So everything is recorded, and I'll send you a recording as well as your mantra, as well as an image for at least one of your sessions. So you have that image to look at and remember, and to bring that emotion back in. It's super easy. You don't have a commute, and you just hop on, and you can do it from anywhere, because I know Jody's far away and a lot of people are far away, but it works for anyone.
How long is a session usually, Paige? And is it painful?
That's a great question. I start almost every session at least saying to myself, like, let's play. And my guarantee is that you'll feel better after. So sometimes when you're in it, it's not fun to go back to those memories, or it's not fun to, really look at what's going on. And the promise is that you'll feel better and better. And you will find the answers, and you will have the breakthrough. And I haven't had a client that hasn't had the breakthrough. So I have a guarantee now. I'm just like, it's a one package. Come to me with whatever issue you're dealing with, and we'll break through it. It's guaranteed. And sometimes that takes a few sessions, and I'll work with you until you do. We're complete, and I so appreciate you all being on.
Thank
Have an
you.
amazing night.
Thank you.
And may you step into more and more abundance in health, wealth, and relationships. Bye for now.